I'd like to call this meeting to order and state that this meeting is being held in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231. It was properly noticed and has been posted and certified by the clerk. For those meetings that will be held remotely, instructions and meetings access will be available on the town website, www.hopatcong.org. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
You're
Ms.
muted,
Johnson.
Brad, you're
Yes.
muted.
Ms. Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Schindler.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Young.
Here.
Mayor Francis.
Here. Please join me in the salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge
To
allegiance
the flag
to the United States
of America, to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Thank you.
It's so awkward.
All right. There are no proclamations tonight. There will be on our next meeting, by the way. I'm going to be doing more scouts. We'll start with committee reports. Dawn?
All right, thank you, Mike. Just a few things coming up and just a couple of things to draw attention to. On our Hopatcong Community Center page, we've updated it with more local vaccination sites in our area. Not everyone can get to the Sussex County Fairgrounds. So we have supplied those sites for vaccination, COVID vaccination. I understand not everyone plugs into social media. So anyone that wants to call the community center, myself or Doreen can give you all the information to log on to these, to call these sites to make an appointment. Also turning our attention, we're always focused on seniors, but turning our attention a little bit to the younger families in the area. There's a lot of people just struggling post-COVID, unemployment. People are still not really turned around. So we have focused a lot of our effort on getting baby necessities. So we have a lot of baby formula, all different types, jarred baby food, diapers. Thank you for those donations. So anyone with babies, small children that could use a helping hand, we're here, and we have really great things to give out to help smooth some of the bumps. Again, just wanted to announce this here. Not everyone goes on Facebook, and that's fine. A couple events coming up. Meet the Mayor is March 15th here at the Community Center at 6:30. A lot of people have questions, things they need to talk about, so that would be a good time to sit and chat with our mayor at the Community Center March 15th. Also, if you want to get a spot for the caregiver support group, that will be March 16th. So now would be the time in the next 2 weeks if you want to register a spot for that. And the next wellness yoga, which is done really nicely here, and I could just see a lot of stress going away, at least for an hour. If you want a spot for that, you may want to check in now. The next date for that is April 6th, but it fills up fast. So if you want a spot for wellness yoga, as we are still at 50% capacity, the spots go faster. So that's what we have coming up. Any questions, please call us here at the community center. I'm always happy to clarify anything. And anything on our Facebook page that people may not plug into, we're always here for the conversation. So I hope that was clear, and that's it for now.
Thank you. Brad, you're up.
I would just have two quick things. Now that we're into March and we're literally only a few months away from different events coming up, one being in particular Memorial Day, which is on the 29th at 11 a.m. Just want to remind everybody we're now continuing to accept applications for the Hopatcong Hometown Hero banner program, which in this case, the new ones coming on board will be added to the ones that already going down Hopatcong Road. They'll be going up along the River Styx Road area. And I've already gotten a bunch in, and just want to let everybody know that I'm going to create a deadline of April the 30th for the bunch that will be going up on Memorial Day, just so that people are aware of that. The second thing is that in moving forward on the Jefferson Field Dog Park, I just want to let everyone know that we're creating a rules and regulations for that park, and I'll be sending that out after it's been reviewed by a local veterinarian to John Urson and the rest of the council for review and inclusion in our park ordinance, just so we have some rules for that new park. That's it.
Thank you. Rich, you're up.
I really don't have much. Just want to say thanks to the DPW and everyone for their hard work. And that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you. John, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, from Municipal Alliance, we met, I believe, last week. Pretty soon here, the weather will be finally actually breaking. Hero Boys will be starting soon. I think registrations are currently underway. And we had some conversations with the school. We are looking to get started back into schools. I don't want to step on Jen's toes, and I'm sure she'll elaborate more, but schools are looking to fully open very soon, providing things go as they look like they're going to go right now. So we had some conversations with the school about getting in there and doing some of our things. One of the things that we're looking to do quite soon, probably April, will be movie nights. We're thinking about doing outside movie nights in the parking lot, like a drive-in style, like we did last fall, I believe. I think it was late September. Anyway, we also have kind of signed on with the county. County is doing, for any alliances that want to sign on, county is doing a Zoom version of Hidden in Plain Sight. We did one here several years ago. It's a great program. It's kind of a teenage bedroom setting where they display a lot of different places that teenagers hide things. Like I said, we did one here in the high school auditorium a number of years ago. It's a great program that will be on Zoom, March 24th. That's a Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Hopefully there'll be a flyer out soon, which will have all the information on it. We also had quite a bit of discussion regarding the legalization of marijuana, and a lot of that discussion was regarding law enforcement. And if you talk to any law enforcement official right now, there's so much gray area that when it comes to law enforcement, it's a mess. And I'll leave it at that. From the Environmental Commission, first off, we had a very lengthy and detailed presentation from the Lake Hopatcong Foundation and the Lake Hopatcong Commission on Witten Park. For those of you that are not aware, Witten Park is on Maxim Drive, right next to the old Martinique. It's also opposite Hudson Avenue. If you take Hudson Avenue from the Crescent Cove Beach all the way to the end, when you get to Maxim Drive, you're looking at Witten Park. It was named Witten Park after Charles Witten in 1972. Charles Witten passed away in 1976. The Lake Hopatcong Foundation and the Lake Hopatcong Commission kind of have been looking at it because it's a hot spot for stormwater runoff and stream bank issues. And they've got some grant money, and they're also trying to partner with Rutgers to redo the stormwater runoff, so that right now we're getting a lot of sediment and salt into the lake, and trying to at least address the issue of sediment. And hopefully, moving forward, once the stormwater runoff issues are resolved, they're looking to help us make some kind of a park out of it for the residents of Hopatcong. So it was a lot of discussion. Like I said, it was very detailed. It was very informative. We also had conversation about Sustainable Jersey. We are one of 55 municipalities that maintained our bronze level in 2020. And we had conversation about our trail hikes. possibly turning at least one of those trail hikes into more than just a recreational hike, kind of a work party for invasive species. And that was pretty much it. So thank you again.
Thank you, John. Ryan, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to start off with the Sussex County Water Quality PAC. Their next meeting is going to be April 1st. The Sussex County Solid Waste Advisory Committee meeting is on the 9th next week. Over at the Sussex County MUA, the next paper shredding event is on March 19th. Electronic waste event is going to be March 27th. Over at the Chamber of Commerce, we have every other week there's the COVID update. That's this Friday. Next week is our business-to-business breakfast on the 9th, and the next chamber meeting is on the 12th. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan. Jan, you're up.
Hi, everyone. So from the school committee, Superintendent Arthur D. Benedetto states that the district is beginning to move forward, reestablishing a full-day program for all students. There will be a single issue meeting on this topic at Hopatcong High School on March 10th at 6:15 p.m. The district has been informed that it will have a $2.156 million state aid cut for the next fiscal year, beginning July 1st, 2021. This is the fifth highest amount of aid cuts in the entire state of New Jersey. The governor's statement that there would be stabilization aid to help offset these cuts was essentially not applicable. The district was prepared for a $1.2 million cut, but the new amount has caused a major difficulty in trying to budget for next year. Sussex County schools have been hit hard with cuts, and all but 2 districts will receive less aid next year. I will be attending the meeting on March 10th, and I would say any parent that wants to hear what the super has to say, attend as well. From the Hopatcong Ambulance Squad, the Hopatcong Ambulance Squad will restart monthly trainings every 4th Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. If members of the community are interested in learning more about them or joining them, they are more than welcome. May 23rd, they will be hosting a golf outing fundraiser at Farmstead Golf and Country Club. The ambulance squad is looking to add 1 or 2 paid EMT members to their agency. They recently got a UV light donated to them by the county to help clean the rigs, and they will be hosting Coffee with a Cop on Tuesday, March 23rd. From the police committee, after serving 25 years in the Hopatcong Police Department, Detective Sergeant Joseph McGraney will be retiring April 1st, 2021. He is a lifelong resident. Sergeant Ryan Tracy is now assigned to the Detective Bureau to assume the duties and responsibilities of Detective Sergeant. Detective Sergeant Tracy previously served 7 years as a detective before being promoted to sergeant and returning to the patrol division. After serving 27 years with the Hopatcong Police Department, Lieutenant Robert Unhock will be retiring on June 1st, 2021. Sergeant Christopher Wojtak, I'm sorry if I mutilated that, was promoted to lieutenant to assume the duties and responsibilities of police lieutenant and is currently training with Lieutenant Unhock to learn his many jobs. Patrolman Christopher Latito and Patrolman Richard Sadowski were both promoted to the rank of police sergeant to fill the vacancies left by the Detective Sergeant Ryan Tracy and Lieutenant Christopher Wojtak. Both newly promoted sergeants are lifelong Hopatcong residents and are each assigned a squad of patrol officers. With the promotion of Sergeant Richard Sadowski, who was the Hopatcong Police Department School Resource Officer, a vacancy existed in the school system. Detective Nicholas Maresca was transferred to the Hopatcong school system as the School Resource Officer. Detective Maresca will be the Hopatcong Police Department's juvenile detective, a mandated position that they had not previously filled. They are in the final process of purchasing body-worn cameras, which are now mandated to be in place by June 1st, 2021. The video camera system that was purchased in 2019 was chosen with an eye to the future and for its compatibility with a body-worn camera system. The officers being exposed to COVID on a constant basis and the use of PPE is essential to their safety. That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ron, administrative report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real quick, an update on all the borough offices. since our recent events of people testing positive, we've issued out our hydrochlorous bottles to each employee at their desktops with paper towels in an effort that if they ever feel the need or wants to wipe down their work area with a proven method to kill the virus, and it's much better than bleach and alcohol. It's much safer. They have that at their desk in an appropriate bottle that's identified with the materials, and the material data sheets are all out. So we're all in compliance with POSHA guidelines. So that's all been issued. And also we started last Friday, we disinfected the entire offices on Friday with the hydrostatic hydrochlorous acids in every area of the borough. We did the bathrooms, the hallways, public areas, offices, courtroom, closets, you name it, we disinfect, and we plan to do that every week. There's a log on each door that indicates the last time that room had been disinfected, so everybody knows when we've been in there and the last time it's been officially disinfected. And we're also keeping a watch on the public. If we get a large public outcry on a day, we'll disinfect that day in those appropriate areas that they went to, just as an additional caution. I do want to put some, just an update on our DPW that's been doing a phenomenal job. I can't say enough about them, but they're hamstrung because as a statewide problem, we are in a deficit of salt. And quite frankly, we borrowed 2 tandem loads of salt last Friday from the county just to make sure we were okay over the weekend if we had any type of icing or had to redo any type of issues. So we are told salt deliveries are coming. What we don't know is that our deliveries are on the barges. So we're watching that as close as we can. It's not just a Hopatcong issue, it is a statewide issue. And just for everybody's etiquette, when you get into these shortages of these types of materials, the pecking order, if you will, is the state gets theirs first, the county gets theirs second, and the municipalities and the townships follow behind. And that's the mode we're in right now. So hopefully we get salt in, we get back up to normal. And more importantly, hopefully Mother Nature just leaves us alone for a little while. But that being said, I just want to give everybody that information because on Friday, we didn't have but 2 scoops of salt left in the bin, and that's not a good condition. So far, so good. And that's all I got, Michael.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion to open to the public.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
An opportunity will be given to the public for commentary. Comments are limited to 1 comment for no more than 5 minutes. Let her rip, Ron.
Okay, anybody from the public that would like to comment, please go to the reactions button and hit your hand. Raise the hand, please. I've got 1.
You got it.
All right. Mr. Bednarski, you're on.
It's Mr. Bednarski. This is for Mr. Mayor. I called out to make an appointment to have a discussion with you, and it's been over a month, and I haven't never heard anything about having a meeting. All you did was pass it on to John. And you keep you don't say anything, actually, to be honest with you. John is always the one that's responding, which I don't want to hear from him. I want to hear from you personally. And I'm not getting any results. I hear people say that you are a people's person and you're here for the town of the people to help them. You haven't done anything to help us. You just totally ignore us, to be honest. And we always hear from John, which I'm tired of hearing from him because he says the same line over and over again. This is not a dead issue. Now, the problem is the water. Now, we were told, again, by the road department foreman, Pat, saying you have to contact the people that own the property that are causing the water problem. And you are the owners of this property. So we want this to be resolved. Now, the only thing I could think of doing, because I'm not going to have my daughter spend all this thousands of dollars to fix a problem that you're causing, which is not even actually going to fix it. So I was thinking of getting a truck of blacktop, maybe about 4 or 5 tons, put it on top on Fordham Trail over that catch basin and divert the water to go down the street. because you guys don't seem to do squat. And if we had that catch basin closed off, we wouldn't be talking right now. The water would be resolved going down the street instead of going down your property onto my daughter's property at 41 Adelphi Trail. So I would really appreciate it if you guys would do something and stop telling us that this is a legal issue. Why is it legal, John? That's my question. Why is it legal? We are coming to you because you own the property. And you're supposed to resolve the property because you own the catch basin, you own the road, and you own the property that's forcing this water down on my daughter's property. Now, if I had a problem with my next door neighbor saying her water was coming on my property, she would take care of it. It wouldn't be a legal issue because you come to him and you resolve it. You guys are not resolving anything. You just keep saying, it's resolved. We're not going to discuss it anymore. But it isn't. It's not resolved because your water is coming down your property onto my daughter's property.
Are you done?
Mayor, I don't see anybody else. We give it some time if you like. I know last night we had technical difficulties, so I want to give everybody the opportunity. Mayor Modes is up. Mara, you can unmute.
Okay.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to thank the DPW this year because I don't know whether it's when people put out the reflectors by their mailboxes and stuff, but you have no idea how much it helps people when you get a little bit closer to the mailbox. So, and they did a wonderful job this year and all of that snow, and I would just like to say thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, Ron?
Let's see here. I don't see any, Mayor. And I ask anybody that can look on the screen, so we do double protection here. Does anybody else see any hands up?
I don't see anyone else.
I don't either. Thanks, Rich.
I'll move to bring it back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will. Generally, I make John respond, but he can respond if he wants to. But in response to Mr. Bednarski, there's been a lot of conversation about your property. I watch and listen closely. There's nothing more or less that I could say that my engineer and our attorney and the DPW superintendent already said. I don't want to waste your time or mine. John?
Yeah, Mayor, let's make it crystal clear. You know, it's been my advice that future correspondence and communication on this issue should come to me. It is a legal issue. It's an interpretation as to the responsibility and the borough's responsibility to create a remedy here. I've given the advice to the council that the matter has been appropriately investigated and analyzed, and a conclusion has been reached. And frankly, a conclusion has been reached quite a while ago and has been repeated over and over and over again. And every communication I've had with the homeowner has been genuinely sympathetic. I understand somebody has a problem with their property and they're upset about it, but it certainly has much more to do with the person they bought the house from than the borough. The pattern of water hasn't changed in decades, and an individual homeowner can look to the borough and say, I wish you could help me with this problem, or I wish you had a remedy. But the reality is that Hopatcong is a very hilly, rocky, and sometimes densely populated in certain areas, town. And if we began to solve water problems of individual homeowners, we would be taking a very significant amount of tax dollars and applying them to solving people's personal property issues. So, again, with hopefully I'm striking the right tone here, because I think, this council is very responsive, and particularly the mayor, to people's individual concerns, but there comes certain circumstances and certain times where the professional advice is that the borough should not take on solving a problem for good legal and public policy reasons. And this is one of those cases. And, unless I don't foresee any point where the borough's position is going to change. Certainly the homeowner and her father have appeared at the council meeting and written the mayor, but I have suggested in council that I should respond to those so that the homeowner gets a consistent answer from the borough, which is certainly sympathetic to the problem, but on legal and public policy basis, not able to participate in the remedy. And, for every one of these problems, as sympathetic as somebody could be in these situations, the other taxpayers would not appreciate if we began to take, the collective tax dollar and go on to people's personal property and solve drainage, runoff, and other similar problems. So I hope that's a complete answer. And I do understand the frustration of the homeowner, but coming to every council meeting and voicing the same question and the same objections and the same requests over and over is not going to change the position of the borough, because I think the position of the borough is correct. And nobody should point a finger at the mayor and say, you didn't respond to me, because, look, the mayor is a representative of the town. He's the primary representative of the town. He meets with people on a regular basis, but he also follows the directions and counsel of his professionals. And I do consider this a legal issue, and I do consider it more appropriate for the communication to come from me on this particular point, so that there's no miscommunication, there's no misunderstanding, and we can proceed from there. So I'm sorry to give such a complete answer, Mayor, but I thought it was appropriate.
Thank you. We're at approval of minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of February 17th, 2021.
I'll make
So
that motion.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-43, approval of the bills list.
Thank you, Mayor. Does anyone need anything removed or discussed? Not hearing any or seeing any, I'll move the bill list in its entirety.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Approval of consent agenda.
So move the consent.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Ordinances, there are no introductions. Final hearing on Ordinance 1, 2021, refunding bond. Refunding bond ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong in the County of Sussex, State of New Jersey. The borough providing for the refunding of certain outstanding general obligation bonds, Series 2011 of the borough, dated September 15, 2011, to provide debt service savings and authorizing the issuance not to exceed $1,550,000 aggregate principal amount of general obligation refunding bonds of the borough to effect such refunding and appropriating the proceeds therefore.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Is this to open to the public?
Oh, yes, I'm
We
sorry.
have to open to the public.
Open to the public. Go ahead, Ron.
I got you, Mayor. Anybody that wants to, if one, please raise your hand.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Which bonds?
Yeah.
So this is consolidating bonds that we have, correct? So we're taking bonds and we're consolidating them into one.
Yes, so,
Rich, you want to answer that? Yeah.
yeah, I will. So
Okay.
these bonds are from the water company, and after a certain amount of time, the state allows you to refinance them. And basically, that is what we're doing. We're refinancing them, keeping the same payout term in years, but refinancing them. And the state only allows you to do it if you have a savings of 3% or more. So that was a big question I had last time and whatnot, that are we going to be saving money? And supposedly the bond council is saying that we're going to be saving upwards to 6.5%. And also one other thing is that the fee, the 75,000, is not to exceed. He's thinking, from what I'm understanding, that fee is going to be more in line of 45,000. Okay. Is
Okay,
that
so yeah, so we don't know what the overall number that it's going to save us, but we're going from 1% and we're saving 6.5% in interest.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Rich.
You're welcome.
Okay. Is there any public out there, Ron?
I don't see any, Mayor.
All right, close it to the public.
I'll move to bring it back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Ordinance 2/2021, Stormwater Amendment, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, replacing Article 9 of Chapter 242 of the Code of the Borough of Hopatcong regarding stormwater control.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Open to the public? No public, Ron?
No, sir.
All right.
Move to bring it back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Ordinance 3/2021, auction of 16 Oklahoma Trail, Block 41001, Lot 43. An ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of certain property owned by the borough and not required for public purpose, and more commonly known as 16 Oklahoma Trail, Block 41001, Lot 43.
So move it.
Second.
Second.
I'll open that to the public. Bring back.
Move to bring it back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
What's the auction date on that, Valerie?
17th.
What
our
date?
next meeting. It's March 17th, our next meeting.
Okay. Ordinance 4/2021, auction of 37 Madison Trail, Block 20303, Lot 2. An ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of certain property owned by the borough and not required for public purposes, and more commonly known as 37 Madison Trail, Block 30203, Lot 2.
So move it.
I'll
Second.
open that to the public. Bring it back.
Move to bring it back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
And that auction will also be on March 17th.
Correct.
Resolutions, Resolution 2021-44, authorization to refund a tax overpayment and to cancel future property taxes on Block 31012, Lot 6.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-45, agreement with the County of Sussex for certified recycling professional services.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-46. You thought I forgot, didn't you, Val?
No, I knew you would forget.
That's the resolution to purchase new portable vehicle lifts for the DPW because the current ones are out of date and unsafe.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Was there only one bid on this? There was only one bid?
No, it's a state contract, Jen. We pulled it off the state contract. So we have the ability to, if we belong to the co-op, we can get it off the co-op or state contract, and it's a better price, and we don't have to go through the bidding process.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
and Mr. Young.
Yes.
Old business. New business. I don't have a lot to say tonight, but the first thing I'll talk about are the COVID cases at Pacan as of yesterday evening was 1,124. That's a big number for our little town, but I guess compared to other towns, they might have more, but I'm still very concerned about that, so please be careful. I think that the vaccines are going to help us, but we're in the very early stages of that, relatively speaking, but just pay attention. I'm very anxious that we can get over this curve and open our schools so we can get our kids back in the classroom where they belong. I think I got a little bit of traction with the state.
Oh, they're calling you now.
Yeah, I know, but about teachers, I really, really believe we need to get everybody in the education organization, not just teachers, but staff. I mean, everybody in that school should be protected, and in that way, I believe we can better protect our children. That's the case I try to make with the state. I don't know how they pick people to get vaccinated. I begged them to do municipal employees. I still don't have much traction there. They'd rather do smokers first. I just don't get it. But if we want to keep and maintain our schools, we need to make sure everybody's protected. Everybody. And that, I mean everybody. Marijuana legislation, of course, has passed. It's now official. Trenton is fumbling around. They're stumbling around with a committee, whatever you want to call it, to figure out how to sell this stuff and who should sell it and where it should be sold. The most concerning to me about the legislation is if you're over 21, have at it. I'm not going to tell you what to do. And myself and other people think it's not much different than alcohol. Alcohol might kill you sooner, as a matter of fact, but that's a matter for another discussion. But I'm most worried about our children. The new legislation, I did get a letter back. I asked the Attorney General if they would consider changing what they wrote, and of course they said no. And the legislation, and this is right from them, the legislation states that for the first offense, law enforcement shall not provide a parent or guardian written notification that the minor violated the underage law. For subsequent offenses, law enforcement must provide parent and guardian notification. They have it in reverse. It absolutely concerns me. And it's a whole long letter from them that I got, but you can't see it. But anyhow, it's not satisfactory to me. So what I plan to do, and I plan to introduce legislation locally that our attorney's working on, that under the law I can introduce to try to get a handle on this legalized marijuana until we figure out what in the world going on with it. But most of all the efforts I'm going to spend are to protect our children. If we don't protect our children, no one else is gonna. And from our friends in Trenton, I use that term loosely, doesn't look like this legislation had our children in mind. I cannot imagine the frustration of law enforcement with this current legislation as a result to minors. Our minors are absolutely exposed to illegal materials and drugs and whatnot, and this also includes alcohol. So if my kid gets in trouble with the cops, I want to know it. Why in the world? What are you thinking in Trenton to pass a bill that says you shall not? This is not an option. And by the way, if you read the entire legislation, if our law enforcement slips up and they notify the parents, they could be in serious trouble with the Attorney General and the DCA. It's ridiculous. But I'll continue to work on that. I want to set up something so you can look forward to an educational program that I will initiate. I'll ask some of our council people to help me. I want to have a town hall meeting, maybe once a month. And my vision is I'll open a meeting. It'll be probably limited to about 150 people at a time, because otherwise my administrator is going to go crazy trying to keep track of everybody. I want everybody to have a chance to speak. You'll get a couple of 3 minutes. But the point of this is, and every month I'm going to have someone speak about THC and about its effect on children specifically. We really, really need to let people know. I've had calls from parents, particularly mothers, that are really worried and actually scared that their kid going to get in trouble and the police are not allowed to notify them. That's pathetic on behalf of Trenton. I can't tell you how disappointed I am, and I voiced that disappointment, will continue to till they change a law that requires our police and law enforcement to notify the parents. You know, this first shot could save a person's future. Like I said, if you're 21, have at it. The law is the law. But I fully intend to try to help people understand what's going on, what the substance does, how it affects a young person's developing brain. You know, it's not like it's harmless. It is harmful to young developing children, especially in middle school and also in high school. So those are my feelings on it. I believe that as elected officials, we are obligated to let our people know the dangers that they've been exposed and our children have been exposed to by this legislation. I don't know how many stronger terms without using bad language to put it. It just baffles me. It does. Coming up with a public hearing with the BPU, and that's the Board of Public Utilities, because I hate acronyms. That's on March 16th. I will testify about the poor service that Optimum often gives in our town, or Altus, or whatever they call themselves these days. But their service keeps getting poorer and poorer. And that's because people are home and less people use it, as I understand it. And they have not increased the capacity of their nodes or whatever language they use. But the more people that are on it, the poorer the service. And PACON has definitely been exposed to that. So I will pursue that as best I can and ask for help in that. Upcoming meeting with the DEP on March 23rd about the lake. I will again make my case about treating blue-green algae, the HABs, the harmful algae blooms, with a non-toxic, non-harmful biological treatment. I don't know if I have much success again, but I'll try again. We can't keep dumping poison in our lake. Algicides and herbicides do nothing but make the blue-green algae worse. It actually makes a condition that they feed on even more. The last thing I'll say is I'm going to ask the council, we'll talk about this, and we talk about the dog park in Jefferson. how about we let people walk their dogs in Modak Park? I think it's about time we took a look at that. The thought just crossed my mind when Brad was giving a report on the dog park. I think if other people do that, I think Hopatcong should do that in my opinion, but that's at the pleasure of the council to change our ordinance. But before the next meeting, let's think about that a little bit. I'd really like to show people that we do care about people with pets and give them a safe place to walk them on a leash. And I think a combination of dog park and us taking a look at other parts of our ordinance, such as Modak Park, might help a lot. So with that being said, that's all I have to say. If any council member wants to comment, feel free.
Well, actually, a couple of things, Mike. On the COVID, we are currently number 3 in the county as far as cases, and that's exactly where we are as far as population. So I think we're right. You know, it sounds horrible, but we're kind of right where we belong. I am all in on, the marijuana and the anti-drugs as far as our children. I agree. I don't think the legislation was written with children in mind. It's 2 facts that we know are that the human brain isn't fully developed till about the age of 25, and marijuana prohibits the development of the human brain. So I don't know what any of them were thinking. As
They're
far
not.
as the lake, I'm sorry, Mike?
They're not thinking.
I agreed. So you asked if any council member wanted to comment, so I did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, they make us people in the political field look bad, to tell you the truth, and I've made that observation.
I'm all in. And as far as the lake, it was funny. One of my magazines I was reading, on the back of it, from Minnesota, I think somewhere, had an advertisement about weed killers you could purchase.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my buttons, John.
Yeah, and it actually said that they were federally approved. And there wasn't much other disclaimer other than that. I thought that was interesting. But all right, I'll shut up.
Yeah, okay. By the way, none of our words in the DEP have taken my challenge to take some of this, put it in the glass of water, and drink it yet. And when you do that, I'll shut up.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, I did want to comment for those that have been thinking, and I appreciate, again, everybody has appreciated everybody's thoughts from the council. All the employees have been very appreciative. The 5 of us that have tested positive, everybody's back at work. We are recuperating, and we're getting back to normal. But thanks again to everyone.
You got it.
Okay.
All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
So made.
Make a motion.
Second.
Thank you all. Please stay safe.